Are you a landlord? Are you faced with a difficult situation with a tenant and you're not sure what's the right thing to do? Hi, I'm Simon Dippenaar and I'm an attorney. Your tenant has breached one of the conditions of the lease agreement and you want to evict them, but you always try to behave in a decent manner and you want to ensure your action is not only legal but ethical. Now, what are your key considerations? Surely, if an action is legal, it is ethical. Our constitution is based on guiding moral principles, so what's the difference between legal and ethical? Acting legally means acting in accordance with the laws of the land. Acting ethically means choosing between right and wrong behavior. Sometimes there is a near universal agreement that the two are the same. For example, taking someone's life except in extreme self-defense is against the law and most of us agree it is morally wrong. But some situations are not as clear-cut. In some countries it is perfectly legal to test cosmetics on animals, but many people feel it is wrong or unethical. Ethics refers to an individual's personal code of conduct, which may be based on particular social, religious, or other group norms. For this reason, ethics can vary considerably between different communities in the same country. But everyone must obey the law, which exists to maintain social order, establish standards, and protect liberties and rights. A lease agreement is a legal contract, which means there are responsibilities on both parties, and both parties have certain rights. Inevitably, the person who owns the property holds more power than the person renting it. We have legislation to protect tenants from abuse of this power, but a landlord may still evict a tenant who has breached the conditions of the lease as long as the right process is followed. The eviction procedure ensures fair and equitable behavior and prevents exploitation. I won't go into detail about the procedure in this talk, but briefly, a landlord must give the tenant notice of the breach of the lease and time to rectify the breach. If the breach is not rectified within a specified time frame, the lease can be terminated. Only if the tenant does not agree to vacate the premises can the landlord apply to court for a tenant eviction order. The tenant may defend the eviction, in which case a trial date is set. In the absence of a defense, a warrant of eviction is issued. If the landlord follows this process, they are acting within the law. But if the tenant is a single mother with 2 young children who has just lost her job and has failed to pay the rent as a result, she is unable to rectify the breach within a specified time because she has not yet found another job. She is unlikely to find alternative accommodation in her current situation, and the cost of the removal alone will cause further hardship. Now, is it ethical to evict her? Ethics are highly personal, but most would agree on eviction would be unethical. A degree of compassion is called for. Fortunately, rental housing legislation is underpinned by strong moral principles. Prevention of illegal eviction from the Unlawful Occupation of Land Act, or PI, provides for the prohibition of unlawful occupation and includes fair procedures for the eviction of unlawful occupiers. It also provides protection to occupiers who may find themselves unintentionally unlawful, such as the single mother in my example. In an eviction case, PI requires the courts to give special consideration to the elderly, households headed by women and/or with children, and disabled persons. While a court may still grant an eviction order in any of these circumstances, the order will usually be stayed. This means delayed to give the tenant more time to find alternative accommodation. Here, the law and ethics overlap, but a sympathetic landlord could go one step further and behave ethically without force of law. The single mother could be given extra time to find a new job and get back on her feet. A repayment plan could be negotiated. Most landlords rely on their rental income. Granting an indefinite amnesty may not be commercially viable for them, but in many parts of the country, it could take 3 months or longer to find new tenants. Evicting the single mother immediately could result in an empty property that could take months to fill, so the landlord would be no better off financially. A bit of leniency might be the best solution for everyone, especially if the occupiers are otherwise good tenants. This would be more ethically sensitive. As an attorney, I help both landlords and tenants with rental housing matters. Whenever possible, I try to resolve disputes through negotiation or mediation if necessary. I always bear in mind the ethical considerations of a case as well as the legal position. If you need help with the legal or the ethical aspects of an eviction matter, give me a call on the number in the signature below.